Another Young Turks video, folks. I know some people are probably tired of the coverage, but there are other people that want to hear more about what's going on because they want to hold progressive media to a higher standard in the time of Trump. And instead, over at the Young Turks, we're getting Anna Kasparian going after Sam Seder and the Majority Report. The crash out never seems to end, folks, but this time Anna has prepared. Rather than going on a manic episode in the middle of the late night / early morning, she made a full 16-minute hit piece with clips, which is certainly something. So let's go through some of the arguments, but first the context. Anna was one of these people that were very arrogantly during the election pretending like Project 2025 just won't happen. Why? I don't know. Donald Trump said he never read it, and I guess he didn't have it on his website, so we're supposed to trust the guy that lied 30,000 times on the record in his first term. Unsurprisingly, he hired multiple Project 2025 authors to run this country and run the administration, and as Kyle Kulinski put it, we're going far and beyond Project 2025 at this pace. So, for Anna to trust Trump at his word is undeniably and respectfully stupid. It's just the objective truth. That's like trying to trust a man to not wear a skirt at an anime convention, which is obviously a universally held experience, and everybody's been there. Here's her points of contention, okay? On camera, she apologized for being wrong. Credit where credit's due, but she immediately got mad at Sam for being surprised that she would say MAGA doesn't like Project 2025, with Sam saying, "Who is this MAGA you speak of?" Which I think, honestly, is a fair question. Now, she responds to this by showing a clip of Sam being too mean to MAGA, to question his understanding of MAGA and the Trump base. In this clip, he was messaging about persuading Trump supporters, and his point was simple. Most of MAGA isn't his target. Frankly, you don't need most of MAGA to win. 95% of Republicans voted for Trump when he lost in 2020, and 95% of Republicans voted for Trump when he won in 2024. Sam seems to have the position that his goal is to push winnable liberals to the left and motivate people who don't vote, who aren't engaged, to get political and get engaged, which I think honestly is a proven strategy. That's how Obama won. That's how Biden won. You strengthen the base and you get the new voters. If you think that pandering to Republicans by going on podcasts and complaining about the left is great political strategy, you should really ask Kamala Harris about the success that comes with pandering to the right. But she argues that Trump doesn't like Project 2025 or didn't like Project 2025 because he knew his base wouldn't like it, because there's apparently a two-tiered tax plan that would tremendously help the rich. But I don't even know why Anna brought it up, considering Trump openly discussed abolishing income tax altogether, which is significantly worse when it comes to redistributing wealth to the top 1%. She points out that Trump claims that Medicare and Medicaid won't be touched, which indicates to her he knows that MAGA would not like the policies of Project 2025. But Anna, here's the wonderful thing. He's a liar. And let's keep it real, folks. I hope that if the MAGA folks are actually affected by the Trump austerity, they are willing to get out of the cult and vote in their own interest. And I'm not against talking to them and talking to them nicely, but there's a difference between meeting people where they are and pandering. Most of MAGA love the idea of cutting every aspect of government because they think it'll fuck up everybody else, but not themselves. Maybe they will wise up when it affects them and they'll care about it, but they voted for the guy. But if that will go after it. And the Republicans literally did just pass a budget bill where they're cutting $800 billion from Medicaid. So those poor schmucks in the South, right, that are on Medicaid, that like this guy, that believe in this guy, they will be affected. The question is, will these guys actually vote against Donald Trump? Maybe vote for an opposition party, let's say the Democratic Party, or will they just somehow try to make it about the culture war and gay people bad, trans people bad, etc., 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 etc.? Listen, that's MAGA, though. I talked to MAGA. That's MAGA. They don't care about these issues. Now, Anna continued to make bizarre arguments, and I found this argument real bizarre, where she says, guys, it's a 900-page document. You think Donald Trump reads 900-page documents? Come on. No! Of course I don't think he read the 900 pages. I don't even know if he can read, but I do know that he has 8 people associated with the project and 6 co-authors in his cabinet as secretaries. What the fuck? is this argument? Well, let's go through a lesson here, folks. The Heritage Foundation, it's a think tank. They're the guys with the ideas. They have a tremendous amount of money and crazy connections. They wrote Project 2025. They make the policy, and the politicians take the policy, and it ends up being law. The fact that the Heritage Foundation openly stated that 64% of the policy prescriptions of their Mandate for Leadership series were included in Trump's first term budget. What a surprise. What a funny surprise. But yeah, we should trust Donald Trump, you know, his base is so in tune with their class consciousness or something. Now, with all that in mind, right, we have a situation right now where the richest guy on earth is destroying the CFPB, an agency which returned $21 billion to regular Americans. You have the president essentially freezing the National Labor Relations Board, which enforces labor law. Anna Kasparian, I guess to continue to understand or attempt to understand MAGA, decided to make their arguments for them and complains about unelected bureaucrats, you know, I guess like the ones at the CFPB and NLRB. And then she proceeds to play a bunch of clips of the news where they were talking about certain inefficiencies within the government, like at the CDC during COVID, like in the FDA, and so on and so forth. Now, she shows a bunch of clips, and she ends it by very smugly looking at the camera, going something like, whoopsies, whoopsie. And I don't understand it. I don't get it. You know, you're making an argument against Sam and Emma, I guess, but Sam and Emma aren't responsible for these agencies. They don't run it. You know, maybe you could blame some Democrats, but as Anna points out, she is not for running our government like Twitter, so she's trying to separate herself from Elon Musk. I just don't understand what she's doing. You know, bringing up government inefficiencies, making the argument for Doge to attack Sam Seder in a time where working people are actually losing their jobs and their livelihoods, you know? And you want to make the arguments for the richest guy in the world because fuck Sam Seder, I guess? Speaking of real workers, I find it genuinely impressive that Anna Kasparian is in the studio and not filming at home for once, you know? Real crazy stuff. She then proceeds to throw a petty jab at Sam, shows a clip of him speaking over Emma in a 15-second clip. I don't think she understands that Emma actually fully hosts the show for certain days of the week, my understanding. But then she goes on a rant. And not a great rant, a pretty bad rant, actually, where she goes, Democrats bad, Democrats bad, Democrats bad. That's actually kind of her main principle, and I'm being serious. When you listen to her speak, when you read what she has to say, she genuinely has more hate and vitriol for the Democratic Party, and clearly has a great affection for people who want to throw brown folks in Guantanamo Bay. You know, erase trans people from existence, kill the labor movement, and turn the working class into serfs. Like, this is barely political, folks. Just look at the way she talks about Democrats when they're right versus when she talks about conservatives who apparently she completely disagrees with. You know, she goes on to say she never made fun of Democratic voters who were scared of Project 2025. She just chastised Kamala Harris for fear-mongering about Donald Trump. And the Democrats for fear-mongering about Donald Trump. And the media for fear-mongering about Donald Trump. Now, I assume this fear-mongering was about something called Project 2025. And in retrospect, the fear-mongering was correct. It amazes me, the lack of humility, when even the establishment liberals got some shit right for once, and Anna still wants to go on a rant about the Democrats. The CFPB is gone. The NLRB is gone. There are people that have died because USAID froze the funds unconstitutionally, by the way, and this president is being puppeted by the richest man in the world alongside the vice president that directly said that this Trump guy, maybe you heard of him, is above the courts and therefore above the law. Anna, we're in a constitutional crisis. I agree. The Democrats need better messaging. The Democrats need to do better than Joe Biden, who was a corpse. But Joe Biden was a corpse who did infrastructure and created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. I don't like the corpse, but I also don't like oligarchs trying to destroy the foundation of the country, literally going at our Constitution. She goes on to try to finish the video, I guess, with the typical narrative she's been pushing about, like, gangs taking over apartment complexes in Colorado. You know, even though the local police, the local media, and the city disagree, and in fact, the party pushing the narrative was the slumlord. You know, they blamed the horrible conditions on Venezuelan gangs, but the city found multiple code violations in 2020 prior to the influx of Venezuelans in that town. Now, I don't deny that there is crime either in or around that apartment. That's the nature of slums. The apartment was actually shut down recently by the owner, and again, the owner pulls the Anna Kasparian and blames the gangs, while the city says they're actually leaving because they were being sued for code violations, which is what slumlords tend to do. Now, I tend to believe the city over a code violating slumlord. But okay, she brings up that LA cutting fire money. That seems to be the case based on data presented by Kenneth Mejia. So there you go, Anna. I'm going to be fair to you. And you a widow W, congratulations, right? She then proceeds to essentially call the entire majority report a cult. And if you deviate slightly from Sam Seder, you're a right-winger. And you are required to worship Hugo from Bob's Burgers, right? She then plays a clip of Sam reading a message only to shit on the fan that wrote it or said it or something, which feels a little extra, if you ask me. She demands that Emma specifically show a quote. This is what she said, a modicum of humility, while also accusing her essentially of being like this cancel culture police or something, policing what you can say, policing who you can speak to. Now, Anna telling anyone to be humble while you attack the Democrats for being correct on about the unique threat that is Donald Trump, the threat to democracy that he is, it's fucking golden. It really is. It's hilarious. But also, more insane is the fact that after all these years, Anna Kasparian still hasn't realized that everyone in this scene has gone soft on her and Cenk. They've been treating them like children, while the adults in the room have been walking on eggshells to avoid a tantrum. Emma in particular, because you guys were close, you guys were coworkers, you guys were friends, but Anna has made it clear that she will literally burn everyone she's ever met or worked with. She will throw them under the bus. And if I was a right-winger, honestly, I wouldn't want to do anything with Anna Kasparian because she's a literal freak. And she's a snake. She's gone after Emma and Francesca for daring to disagree with her and Cenk. Sam Seder, who's been one of the most consistent people in this game, and honestly the saddest, she'll go after Hassan while talking with Cenk as if that's not his literal nephew. Like, I'm not demanding that you like Hassan, but like, come on, bro. Give Cenk a break. I don't think she realizes this, but Anna, people don't dislike you because you're a renegade and you're different. People don't like you because you're weird.